2021 Hearthstone World Championships produced so many dramatic moments that whittling it down to just 5 was a difficult task for me. In the end, I've settled on a mix of some good plays and also some of those dramatic moments that occurred. The Group A elimination match ended with one of the most exciting finishes we have ever seen in a World Championships match. Godan was left in a tricky situation at the end of his Garrote Rogue combo and had to take a chance on hitting multiple bleeds from his deck. But with 3 other cards still in his deck, this was an unlikely prospect.
Glide again, still doesn't find it!
Oh, is that just likely to be it, Sol?
I think it is. I think it is.
The fact he couldn't get to a glide is huge. I think it became fairly simple this turn. Gabby either had to draw X for lethal to win the game, or he had to glide this hand away from Godan. And you can see relief for Godan. I think he just spent that whole turn scared of a glide. It's not happened, and now he has all of the tools required to finish this game. Except, wait, how much spell damage does he actually need here?
It's quiet.
He needs to do 5 damage per, so he needs 3 spell damage if he's going to be getting all 6 procs off. He does have the swing of the weapon as well, but it very rarely affects a breakpoint when it's at 30.
Just because it's important to remember, double Shadow Step gone. He also used one of the Augur Merchants earlier in the game, right?
Yeah, so he needs the Guild Trader now, which he does find. All Mana Guild Trader can come down. He does have Prep to discount the remaining Garrote by 1, which leaves him with 1 mana free, but still 3 cards remaining in the deck from this point. Oh,
wait,
Raven!
Is this just... Does he have to just risk it? It's not guaranteed, right?
I don't think it is.
Because he can prep Garrote, and then he just brain freezes.
Brain freezes.
Well, now Godan has no other choice, right? He has to do Garrote, brain freeze, Offlinger, you know, whatever you want. It's all going to be how these bleeds are drawn. This is to make it to the semi-finals of the World Championship. The loser goes home. Did Godan miss? He's shaking his head.
Godan looks disappointed. The first draw! That was 0 bleeds! That was 0 bleeds, Raven! In one of the most ridiculous endings to a Hearthstone series I have ever seen. The plot armor is too powerful. Gabby is in the semi-finals.
In the very first game of the championships, Jianming on Mozaki Mage got a terrible starting hand. However, instead of taking card draw from his Runed Orb, he decided to build a Snowman to shut down a potential Tusk Piercer. Although the Snowman was dealt with reasonably easily with 1 face attack, the chip damage taken from Snowman and later on the Snow Brute, with some help from a multicaster, allowed Jianming to launch spells at Godan. This meant he was able to keep Godan on the back foot and win with a relatively small Mozaki when it finally turned up in hand. Yeah, hasn't drawn anything particularly useful either in his opener. However, the great leveler sometimes, Godan has the Il'gynoth on the left-hand side of his hand, which means his outcast spells are going to be just that little bit more awkward to get going.
Do you want to build a snowman?
I knew this was coming. Why so early? Why so early?
Literally the first, card that's played entire tournament gets a build a snowman. All right, Jianming wants to build a snowman. At some point, he's just going to have to let it go.
It's the stuff after you complete, after you get Kurtrus, the more card draw you've used in that time, obviously, the less he seems to be getting cards in pairs, so maybe he will. And he is going to be at the mercy of Jianming, who's now going to be able to get the flow activated, which, although it's a bit slow.
Yeah, you could be thinking about playing Ignite first and then Flow, because really there's not much else you can do in hand. Yeah, because this will discount the shuffled. I mean, if he gets a minion to use it on, he can always blow up his own minions, which is actually super beneficial. So use it preemptively. Yeah. Just to try and get a little bit of a buffer.
Oh, it says
Second Flow.
Yep, it's all going at the face. I love being trolled by the cards. All right, 11. Now Godan's got to clear this up. It's too much going on there.
Looks like that's going to happen. And then could end up glide just for himself, right?
Yeah.
And then Ignite is 7 Siphon Mana, and then another Siphon Mana.
Wow.
Yep, that'll do it.
And now Godan
Got there.
never got in there, and just the snowman into the snow brute, taking down the Demon Hunter, and that's a massive deal for Tianming to start the day off. I could make a whole video on banterface's nuanced play in this event, but this was the best of those. When faced with an early Trog in Glory's Face Hunter, he took an extra turn before removing the Trog, and instead just calmly pinged it with his face. Due to making this play, his Immolation Aura, which he top-decked next turn, allowed him to keep the Fellscream Blast for more important times. As Sottle says on the desk, play well, get rewarded.
I grow impatient.
He does just need that one more turn. Of course, Doggy Biscuit off the top would be insane, but if not, he needs something to just get him to Ramming Mount at least. And we see Banterface probably after a little bit of thought thinking, do I have to do this? And realistically, yes, because already we started pointing out more options on ways to deal with this now.
That is one of the better plays I've seen all day, because that plays around exactly the eventuality that he's now come up against with the Fellscream Blast on the other side, and now sets him up for Immolation Aura off the top. Play perfectly, get rewarded, Raven. That's just how Hearthstone works. That Trog attack was so good. Lesser players would have said, I have Arcanist Fellscream next turn anyway. Like, what am I really worried about here? But taking 2 damage with the hero power not only gave him more flexibility against other buffs coming back the other way, but it gave him so much more flexibility against Cold Neophyte. It was such a good attack from Banter.
I was reticent to put this clip in here as it highlights a moment of madness from Possessi in the final. However, it was such dramatic timing that I feel obliged to include it. At 2-1 ahead and on the edge of winning the World Championships, he seemingly miscounts his mana and sends us to game number 5.
Just open season on these minions, throw them down on the board, launch everything face on next turn. And even though Possessi has a very, very easy peasy clear on this turn with Immolation Aura and the I-Beam as well, I question whether it will be enough healing to help him survive these hero powers.
Healing, and let alone how is he going to win the game with an OTK with 2 spell screens gone and an I-Beam. But I mean, he can still get there with just tempo, right? Minions sticking on board. Hunter does tend to fizzle out at this point. Glory's hand is a whole bunch of nothing at the moment. But like you said, the healing is so important here. This I-Beam is just not enough to quite get there on its own, and Possessi actually doesn't even have the mana to do the full clear anymore. I don't know if he miscounted there, but Fellscream or I-Beam only here, not both, which means the Rhino's around. Oh my goodness, the nerves are just starting to get to everyone.
Yeah, I was afraid that we'd get a Possessi moment. I was afraid that we'd have to let the world know that this sometimes actually happens. He is one of, if not the best player that we have in Asia Pacific. But stuff like this just sometimes happens. It breaks my heart to see.
Of course, the most important moment of the World Championships is the moment where the winner is crowned. Would we have a new world champion, or would Glory remain on the throne? Jir and Daruk, take it away.
Card draw as an incredibly high priority here as Glory gets himself a much, much better hand here. Acrobatics, Glide, Tradables, I-Beam to kill off the Kurtrus. This is a nutty hand to get after Glide. He could even be looking at lethal on this turn.
Not particularly likely, but not impossible. He had to get the absolute best outcomes. Vengeful Spirit off the studies coming back to bite him a little bit. Obviously, he didn't have any good options at that point, but it is a whiff. Possessi, you can visibly see the stress getting to him now. And Glory is looking at a glide of his own, but at this point, yes, do not use the Outcast one. That is helping Possessi in this situation. He is just dumping the non-combo pieces and non-card draw cards, aside from the Vengeful Spirit, which would have taken away the studies aura.
Another happy Gilby.
Okay.
Again, he's just ended up drawing dead here. Both players have no card draw, but almost every combo piece they need. This is going to be so scrappy for the World Championship title.
That's an Elginoth off the top.
Another happy guildie.
Tradable, he is one fell screen blast away from the World Championship trophy.
Oh, more tradables!
More tradables!
Oh my god! That's
the fell scream! That is 36 damage. The classic Il'gynoth, double more. Talented Arcanist. Enough targets on board to get the combo damage there. Possessi is your 2021 Hearthstone Grandmasters World Champion.
The fight of his life from glory. He won it last year. He came a game of Hearthstone away, a draw in that game away from becoming the back-to-back champion. But in the end, it is Possessi who is crowned your champion. The emotion we can see on his face, brought to tears by his victory. It's, I'm emotional myself, Gia. We've seen such a journey for Possessi over his seasons of Grandmasters, and to see it culminate like this is so well deserved. I could not be more proud and more happy for him.
This year's World Championships was incredibly exciting, and congratulations to Possessi, finally getting there after many years at the top of the game. If you would like to get involved in 2022, visit playhearthstone.com and check out the Esports section. All of the details for the programme next year can be found there. Registration is already open for the qualifiers, and the games themselves start on January the 7th. Good luck to all those of you who enter.